What's up, guys? It's Cory Talaska here, and we're back from our test day. This is the first video back from that, and what we're gonna do is be throwing the car in the scales. So we scaled the car before, but we didn't level the scales or anything. We just wanted to see rough weight and stuff. But now we want to really kind of see exactly what our camber's all the way around, our caster is in the front, and get an idea. So we found a spot on the floor that's taped out here that our scales fit into, and we leveled them. The ground's actually pretty level. It's only this back one here that we need to shim up a little bit, but that's shimmed up, and we have a pretty level surface to check everything. So we're gonna run through checking our camber everywhere, our toe, and then caster in the front, so we can make sure that we're at least close to even. We'll throw some of the front metal fenders and stuff on the car so our weight's a little bit more balanced, but that's what we're gonna do. Alright, so one important thing you want to do whenever you're scaling a car is make sure all your air pressures are good. So you set air pressure to what you would maybe run somewhere. And then also when you hook up your scales, when you like jack up the front and slide in these two pads, make sure that everything's plugged in and on before you set it down. So you want the scales to read like no weight, 0 before you put any weight on it. This is another kind of little dumb trick when you don't have a full rack to roll on and off to let the car settle if you make a toe or a camber adjustment. The wax paper just kind of lets tire kind of move a little bit versus it just like moving the scale or getting tight or not moving at all, because you can't roll it back and forth. Usually when we're doing camber towing like that on the ground or at the track, we'll make an adjustment, roll the car back like a couple feet and then roll it back forward so everything settles out, and then recheck it. If you make the change and then set it right back down, you might not get an accurate measurement because the car didn't actually settle. So that's why we do that. So these are the numbers with the car in it without me. It's pretty balanced. When I get in, it'll change a little bit, but we're 49.7 rear, 49.3 left, so it's pretty accurate. We're pretty even. 27.30 weight overall. We need to be 2,900. Fuel tank's probably like 3/4 full. So even with me in the car, the numbers are pretty even. Everything's pretty 50-50. Left side's like 51, but it's because I'm fat. And so everything else is pretty good. 2960 without the hood, like front bumper, rear bumper, so we should be good on weight no matter what. And like I said, the fuel tank isn't full, so I feel pretty comfortable with that. If we do go to different wheels at all, these 3-piece wheels are all way heavier than something else, so that might affect weight, but as of now we're leaving these. So now we'll go around and check camber, caster, all that fun stuff. So we got our quick trick setup on both front wheels, and checking camber first. I'm not using the quick trick thing. I'm using our old intercomp gauge. Right now our left front camber is 5. We're gonna swap it over, see what the other side is. 5.
Really?
Yeah. Right front is 5 as well. So on uneven ground, we managed to somehow make it even. Probably on accident. So caster, we checked caster on both sides. It was actually dead nuts even. It was 4.5, 4 3/4 degrees caster, which is a pretty good number. I'm good with that, and it feels good. And all we did, as you saw, is we turned wheel 15 degrees, zeroed out the camber gauge, turned it basically 30 degrees then, so 15 degrees to even, and then 15 degrees back the other way, and then that's your caster number. We did that on both sides. Now we jump to the rear to check our camber, and now the track we were on was like burying the left rear because it was a huge right-hand sweeper and then a little chicane and then another like right-hand sweeper. So to show you like the difference, and we made adjustments on our lower arms based on tire wear and contact. So the right rear, which it was only at +1/4, left rear we had it adjusted all the way to negative degree and a quarter. So that's how much, with like the suspension movement and everything, that's how much we had to adjust the camber in when on a track that buries the left rear to get like an even contact wear. So, fun fact. And for rear toe, 0. So this is actually one of the first times we ran straight up 0 toe. We always were a little bit one way or the other, but I really liked how it felt. And we had good side bite and forward momentum with the proper tires, with the Valinos, the 200 treadwear tires, with the Achilles. These are ATR Sport 2s. They obviously had way less grip. We ran a little bit lower air pressure. We were able to still get a little bit of grip out of it, but it's night and day between these and comp tires for sure. So one big thing, because we noticed the temperatures in this car were insane, is how we did all our lines for the cooling. We have out of the bottom of our radiator, this is the feed, and then you notice there's a T right here that goes into the pump, and then this feeds to the front of the car. So what feeds into this is the drain at the bottom of our tank. Last year, all this is everything was plugged and it was just a drain, so it was basically just like a reservoir. Now, what we have is water flows out of the bottom, into the feed, in, through, and around. And then this is the return, and then this line feeds into here, so then this creates our whole, our circulation of water. So you can actually see, when you take this off, if you're running the water pump, you can see water just like gushing out. So now we have an actual proper circulation, and we have the water that's feeding out of this before the pump instead of before it was after. So it's a way better system. And like I said in the last video, we made 4 or 5 runs pretty much all back to back. In the car, the hottest it got all day was 208. I think maybe oil got to 212 at one point, but it literally, and then pulling off, leaving fan, water pump, and everything running, and leaving the car idling for like 30 seconds, it drops down to like 180. Shut the car off, leave the water pump run for a little bit, 160. It's like happens super fast. So that's a huge deal, because the only problems we had last year was the car wanting to overheat. At the shootout, our last run that we made, and this was like in the top brackets, we had run the car a bunch. Our car was like almost 240, and we were just gonna run it no matter what. We weren't gonna, we already took our 5 minute when I bent the front end. So I'm super happy with that, because now they're really, mechanically, I don't really have any concerns about the car. Anything that's gonna happen, it's gonna be a freak thing, and we're not going into the season knowing that our car doesn't stay cool. All right, peeps, now that you got the lowdown on what we go through to kind of corner bounce, scale the car, and how important it is to kind of know where your car's at. I mean, I'm going to throw the car on the scales basically between every event, because we're going to go to each event with a base setup, a balance setup for anything, maybe a little bit of adjustment based on the track that we know we're going to, right-hand turn heavy, left-hand turn heavy, and then we're going to make our adjustments as needed there, and we come home, we're going to throw the car on the scales and write everything down, because then, let's say next year, and we're talking gearing, air pressure, time of day, track, everything. These are all stuff that you want to make notes on in any form of racing, because notes are insanely important. You can go to a track, know exactly what gear to put in, based on like similar humidity, weather, all that stuff, how the track's gonna be. You can get a general idea of going right into it. So it's not like you going into your first practice and you're like, I have no idea what's gonna happen. You can have a pretty decent of idea of what to expect, and then you can work off that base, because you already did all the legwork in finding a better starting position for that track. Or similar tracks, you can use it as, hey, this track's like this, I'm gonna throw this setup in the car and we'll see how it goes. Sometimes that can be a huge help. But thanks for watching, peeps. Next video is gonna be about wrapping the car, because paint was a failure, but we'll cover that maybe another time. So like, comment, subscribe, peace.